They say success is the best revenge. Heard they were sleeping again, say it no more. We can take off and go anywhere but here, baby, you know the deal. And she bad, so maybe she won't, but shit, then again, maybe she will. Maybe she will. Maybe she will. Maybe she will. Maybe she
Crypto YouTube, how's it going? Crypto Said here with another banger. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I sure did. Football season's upon us. The real football, that is. American football is upon us. We have a packed filled video to bring you. I am going to discuss why I might be looking to close out my long position and possibly look for a large short position to take. I do hate taking large short positions of the middle of the range, but things are not looking pretty. But we will go over that on the chart. We'll see if we can find some bullish propaganda to pump this price up, but things are looking a little wicked. We do have some CPI readings this week as well, and some event news that's going to come out that I'll go over in detail here in this video. So there's a lot of volatility expected this week in the markets, which, it's not the best. It's not ideal to take large positions waiting for these events to come out. Normally, in the past, if I'm not in a trade or not in a position, then I'll skip the week, let the events come out, unless there's some good opportunity for me to take a trade. Otherwise, I let the events happen. I let the price action take advantage of whatever event happens and then go from there. So it's going to be a pretty crazy week. The CPI reading being high or bumping up will lead to a bearish move for us. So it's a really big thing, very big indicator. Recession talks, all this bearish news and such. So the market hasn't quite recovered like it should have. The bounce is pretty weak, and we just kind of been ranging. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to get into news, stocks. We're going to look at Bitcoin, DXY, S&P. I'm going to skip Dow this week or this video. Normally I do this on Tuesday, but I do want to get this out to you as soon as possible. And then we're going to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course. And then we're going to end there, right? It will be a quick one. I hope you learn a lot from it. I hope it helps you make smart trades. So let's kick it off and let's begin. All right, Hong Kong sets 18-month deadline to revamp digital asset regulation. As part of its goal to establish itself as global center for financial technology, Hong Kong plans to strengthen its legislation regarding digital assets within the next 18 months. So that's big for Hong Kong. Maybe we could get some good buys from them. Would be nice to add that, right? VCs show flight to quality in QT funding report. PitchBook reports $2.7 billion in venture funding, up from quarter one, but with less deal flow. It expects $12 to $14 billion for the year, up significantly on 2023's number. So that's pretty cool. Made fewer crypto deals last quarter. So, but the sector remains high. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the price has been down a bit, so that I could see that. Bitcoin and crypto go unmentioned. during Musk X space. I'm trying to keep, politics out of the way. Ones who do know me know which way I lean, and it's hard for me to not say this, but I am trying to keep my channel clean and not get any strikes or anything getting into politics. So this is a good read. Boeing confidence in Starliner speaks volumes, says former NASA astronauts. Starliner is going to be really cool, I think. These commercial companies cannot afford to have any accidents because it could completely end their programs, notes former astronaut. Thought that was a pretty cool read right there. Let's close that up. Rumble shares gain as revenue declines but loss lessens. I just don't get that. They narrow their losses, so, it's okay. Everything's fine, right? Revenue declines, but losses in the revenue declining is less. So that's great. Everything's good. Bullish, right? BuzzFeed stock jumps on narrow Q2 loss, new launches. I keep reading, these stocks are just rising because people aren't losing, these companies aren't losing as much money as they were projected to do. Like, what happened to making money? Are we supposed to make money, or maybe not, right? Anyways, so we're gonna jump into the dollar first, kick things off right. For some reason, Discord had like this update on their text, and it just looks so bad. I don't know if anybody else sees that. Comment in the description if you do. But yeah, so that looks pretty neutral. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the dollar, see what we can find. Let's see if we can find anything. I haven't really been looking too much today at the charts. I've just been really busy trying to fix some issues with the course. It's been keeping me pretty preoccupied. I did take a small scalp on Bitcoin over the weekend, short, and took profits on that. Didn't really want to stay in the trade going into all these events that we're having. Speaking of which events, let me pull that up first. Let's talk about that as first thing first after the news before we get into the dollar. So we have PPI coming out today, core PPI. This could move the markets just a tad bit, although it looks pretty flatlined from this projection, so probably not if we have the same one. And then this guy speaking isn't really going to do much for us. So I don't really see much moving on today. It's going to be kind of a dull day for us. CPI is tomorrow, Wednesday morning. CPI comes out. So that's huge. Wow, there's a lot. Oh, that's AUD, CPI. So we got core CPI, CPI month over month, year over year. I thought we had the unemployment rate, but that doesn't look like us. I don't really see anything else. Maybe that's it. Okay, here it is, unemployment claims. I thought this would have been on Wednesdays, but that's fine too. Retail sales, month over month, core retail sales. Interesting. So, we have quite a bit coming out that's going to really move the markets, I would hope, unless it's flat. So in my last update with the dollar, I did say I was still looking pretty bullish on it. It looks like we did get a move to the upside. Not much, though. It's been kind of choppy. We had a nice little move right there, but overall, it's been kind of choppy. I do want to see where the pivot is for the weekly P for this. Before I get too far deep into this. Woody weekly P is right here. Okay, great to see. We could work our way back up there. We haven't touched that yet, so that could be something we look towards getting to. All right, let's get into the chart here. I do have another Nexus update coming soon, probably the middle of next week to the end next week. I'm going to add some more fib levels, automatic fib levels. The day is on there by default. I'm going to make that where you can configure it so you don't have to use the day, but ideally I'm going to have day, and then there's going to be 4 other configurations you can use now. And then hopefully I can clean this up a little bit. The reason this isn't showing very well is because we can't really get volume profile from the weekly, or not the weekly, from the dollar. Sorry, I was looking at the weekly. But we can't get volume profile from the dollar, so that's kind of why this is all crumbled up like this. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Anyways, So we're going to go ahead and get this. The weekly still looking pretty bearish on this. As I've stated, as long as the weekly's pushing down, I don't see reason for us to have some wicked wild move, although the daily is setting up for some bullishness still. If you remember my last video, I am temporary bullish on the dollar, which is unfortunate for us in our Bitcoin long, but you just have to look at the chart and see what you see. Now, if CPI drops dramatically on Wednesday, I would expect this to drop just as dramatically as the report does, right? As soon as it hits the tape, DXY is just going to plummet like crazy. Now, if CPI rises, I expect the DXY to take off, probably get back up in this area over here, and then we're gonna have a mega dump on Bitcoin. So just something to take note of. You could possibly take a position, although I don't really recommend taking a position when reports are coming out. But the CPI coming out on Wednesday is gonna be pretty big. That's gonna be a pretty critical number. If it is flat, then I think we'll probably just continue this sideways momentum, but I don't really see that. I'm not going to really guess on what I think, it's going to be. My personal belief is that it's going to tick up, and that's not great. I think the Fed should have cut last month in rates, and now they're not going to be able to cut until September. So it comes September and they're giving us 5 basis points cut. It's kind of a dramatic change right off the bat, and I don't think that will take effect until 3 or 4 months. And if CPI continues to tick back up, we're in for a world of hurt. So let us hope that's not the case. But 8 hour is looking pretty bullish for us as well with the dollar. So I don't really, 6 hours starting to flat line, neutral zone. We have a big move starting to come in right here as the volatility is expanding on that. So that's looking really good. Overall, I can't be bearish on the dollar. The 4 hours looking really good. 2 hours probably leaning it down a little bit. Yep. Leaning down a little bit, starting to curl back up. As long as we consolidate in this area, this will kind of cool off and curl back up for us. So I'm bullish on the dollar, which won't help Bitcoin very well. Let's check out S&P. Check out the weekly. Actually, let's check out the weekly P first, see where that is. Just get some thought process on that. Oh, no, there's a weekly P right there. So we opened up above the weekly P. Yeah, we're above the weekly P right now. So it would be kind of nice to see us come down and touch that. But again, if we do have that bearish posture coming in, it would be a nice little bounce and then continue back up. But let's look at the chart first here. So weekly still bearish. We still have a bearish pressure from the weekly time frame, but again, the weekly does take time to play out. The day is pointing up for us. 12 hours pointing up as well for us. It's looking pretty darn good. We are kind of recovering a lot better on S&P and the Dow than we are on Bitcoin, so it's great to see. This is pointing up as well. It's looking pretty bullish on that. 6 hours looking pretty darn good too. 4 hours kind of flatlining for us, so that's great to have continuation back up. This is starting to curve back up. So overall, I'm pretty bullish on S&P, but again, once these reports hit the tape, that could obviously change it at a heartbeat. But this is looking really good. 1 hour is looking pretty darn good. S&P, I feel pretty bullish on. Now, I don't know if we'll touch that weekly P, to be honest with you. Let's see. I guess we do have a swing fill right here and the 618, so it could be a possibility for us to hit this weekly P. So let's go ahead and mark this as an area of interest. See if we can get some movement down here, and it's a weekly value area high, which is crazy that that's the weekly value area high. So we'll save that. We'll see if we can get back down there. Possibly have a nice little bounce. I really don't want us to see it. I don't want us to see us get down there, but the charts do indicate that we could possibly move back down to that region. So 80% chance that we hit weekly P. So why not? This is a pretty relative location for us to possibly come down and hit the weekly P. So why not just try to hit it anyways, right? Let's check out Bitcoin now. I'm gonna skip the Dow for now. I'll probably do it on Thursday. I want to get to Ethereum as well. All right, so first let's find the weekly P. Whoops. 1 second. 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 Let's see. The weekly P has hidden from us. Let me remove these real quick so I can see the chart a bit better. All right, let me change the focus on these. Let's see, let's just take these off, take these off. And then let's make this 15. All right. All right, so the weekly P is below us. Wow, right on the 618. So why can't we not test that? Let's see if we hit it already. Nope, we haven't. We've almost touched it today, though. We got pretty darn close. We got pretty darn close on that. So, all right, that would be kind of a nice area to take a position on, a long going weekly P right there if we get there. So let's check out the higher time frames real quick, see what we can get. I don't want to get too focused on the weekly P. Weekly still bearish on us. Hate seeing that. I wish it wasn't. Daily starting to turn over on us again, so that's not looking too beautiful. 12 hours not looking too great. This is not looking good at all, guys and girls. 8 hours looking pretty bearish for us. 6 hours looking pretty bearish. Let's see, the 4 hours kind of running into a neutral zone, so 2 hours starting to turn on us as well. Oh, this is a tough read. I would like to say that the lower time frames could possibly move back up, but you know, it's not looking really good. I am leaning towards us being a bit bearish. I do want to see what this weekly P does here, so we'll go ahead and mark that right there. We do have an important level as well right here from our last swing fill area, so tough to see this price action like this. You know, it's nothing like the last move up. We had continuation, we kept going up. It's really tough to see that. It really makes me believe that we're headed into a bearish market, unfortunately. But I would really like to see our swing of the high over here, this all-time high right here that I'm really looking for still, before we have that massive drop back down. So right now, I would expect us to move back down to this area. Let's see how we react down here at this weekly P. See if we get a nice bounce back to the top, swing fail the top again, or if we just continue down lower. But this ideally does look better. This area right here looks a bit better. That could reset these higher time frames a tad. But overall, I'm not a big fan of this. The daily starting to turn over like that, so hopefully that doesn't confirm a turnover. I don't see anything too bullish. We had a bullish divergence down there, played out already. Jux called that to the T. Had a great trade off that. There's 14% just on that, but I don't really see. I can't be bullish right now, unfortunately. I'll probably look to take profits on my long if we get back down here in this area, possibly, or even break the low right here, but it just doesn't look very good. But this is one of those wait and see type games. You know, there's a lot of like very flat line Jux indications, and there's just not, this is sitting down, 8 hours sitting down. These higher time frames are sitting down. The lower time frames are kind of in a neutral posture right now. So we might just chop around until this report comes out, but ideally, I don't see why we can't get back down to this weekly P at least, maybe tag it, bounce off of it, go back up, or we just chop around and slowly bleed down to this area. But the biggest thing is the CPI reading. Wait for that. I wouldn't look for anything too dramatic position-wise to get in. That report is going to be really big, and that's going to really give us momentum. Check out Ethereum, see what Ethereum looks like. So the weekly is looking pretty bearish too. Overall, dang. We almost went right back into October of last year. Oh my. Oh my. It's tough to see that. It's very tough to see that. Not a big fan of that, man. Check out the daily. Daily's looking a bit better than Bitcoin, but it's not doing super well. This area is just not holding up like we need it to. 12 hours looking pretty good, and the day is looking pretty darn good. Much better than Bitcoin's 8 hour. We're kind of in a neutral zone there. Neutral zone there. 4 hours kind of choppy as well. 1 hour looking pretty choppy there too. 2 hours starting to turn over for us. Yeah, so weekly P's right here. I don't see a reason why we can't come back down and test weekly P. Sorry everybody. Let's see if we can test this area again, see if we get some good price movement back to the upside. But overall, you know, I'm leaning bearish. I can't deny that Bitcoin and Ethereum both look really bad right now. Unfortunately, it's hard to say that. Let's take a look at high block again. I just want to verify this real quick. Let me pull up the other one. So this is kind of sitting neutral right now. So we're not really going to get much data from this. It's kind of in a choppy zone right now for that. XO, let's check out XO. So let's see here. Prices rising as open interest is dropping, kind of. Flatlining on this. Yeah, I'm not a fan. This doesn't look that great. And we did open up inside previous day value area high, so we don't really have a Dalton. So you know, we can continue chop sitting. I don't see a reason why we can't. Let's test the weekly piece and what type of reaction we get from that before we move any further. And my bot did go down. Somebody broke my bot. Let me turn it back on real quick. Interesting. Been having issues lately. XO and High Block keep changing their website up on me. Doesn't help me, right? All right, now that we got it, let's check this out real quick, see if there's anything good on Ethereum. All right, come on now. Oh, there we go. Oh, Ethereum's got a bit more on the long liquidation, so yeah, I'm leaning bearish. I hate to say it, but I'm leaning bearish. I don't see a reason why to be bullish right now, unfortunately. So yeah, it just doesn't look good. Unfortunately. I'm just trying to find something that looks bullish, but I can't. 30-minute bearish, hidden bearish divergence playing out right now. Objective post called that. Got that to the T. Right off that. Easy play right there. Had the 2 hour top out signal right here. Even in this choppiness, still played out really great. So anyways, I did cut this to 20 minutes, to just about 20-minute video. So I hope, you know, you have a wonderful day. Trade safe. Have a good evening or a good morning wherever you are. Thank you for watching. I do just, you know, I appreciate everybody who watches me and tunes in and takes, you know, my technical analysis and goes with it, right? I love trading, and I'm glad I can share this with y'all day in, day out. So anyways, from Crypto Sub to y'all, peace and love. Later.